By the late 1990s, Europe had a brand new plan to assert its independence. And this time, it was going to hit America where it really hurts: the wallet. The euro was born in 1999, and it was a genuinely historic achievement. 12 countries, eventually growing to 20, surrendering their beloved national currencies. The Deutschmark, the French franc, the Italian lira, all gone, replaced by one unified currency. The ambition was enormous. Create a currency so strong, so widely used, so trusted globally that it could rival, maybe even dethrone, the almighty US dollar as the world's reserve currency. And for a while, things looked promising. By the mid-2000s, the euro was actually stronger than the dollar in exchange rate terms. European leaders were quietly thrilled. But then 2008 happened. The global financial crisis exposed just how fragile the eurozone actually was. Greece nearly collapsed. Ireland needed a bailout. Spain, Portugal, Italy, all teetering on the edge. And who was still standing rock solid through the whole crisis? The dollar. Because when the entire world gets scared and uncertain, investors don't run to euros. They run to US Treasury bonds. The dollar didn't just survive the challenge of the euro. It emerged stronger. Today, the dollar still accounts for roughly 60% of global foreign exchange reserves. The euro, around 20%. A respectable second place, but second place nonetheless.
The European Army. Perhaps the greatest recurring fantasy in modern geopolitical history. The idea sounds so logical on paper. Europe has 500 million people, enormous wealth, sophisticated technology. Why on earth does it need America to defend it? Why not build a unified European military force that could stand on its own? European leaders have been talking about this idea since literally the 1950s. The European defense community was proposed in 1950 and collapsed in 1954 when France, yes, France again, refused to ratify it. Then came the Western European Union, then various EU defense initiatives, then the Common Security and Defense Policy. Proposal after proposal, summit after summit, committee after committee, and yet, decades later, Europe still does not have a meaningful independent military force. Why? Several reasons, all awkward to admit. First, money. European NATO members have chronically underfunded their militaries, many spending far below the NATO target of 2% of GDP on defense because they knew America would pick up the slack. Why pay for expensive tanks when Uncle Sam has tanks? Second, coordination. Getting 27 countries with different languages, different military traditions, different threat perceptions, and different political systems to agree on a joint military command is essentially a logistical nightmare. And third, perhaps most fundamentally, many Eastern European countries, especially those that spent decades under Soviet domination, simply trust American security guarantees more than they trust a French-German-led European force. For them, NATO with America is the real security blanket. Everything else is just talk.
Welcome to the 21st century battleground, and this one isn't fought with tanks or currencies, it's fought with data, algorithms, cloud servers, and smartphone apps. Europe looked at the digital world and saw a problem. Essentially, every major platform its citizens use daily is American. Google for search, Apple for phones, Microsoft for computers, Amazon for shopping and cloud computing, Meta for social media, Netflix for entertainment. The entire digital infrastructure of European life was built by American companies, runs on American servers, and is governed by American corporate decisions. European leaders called this digital colonialism and vowed to fight back. They introduced GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation, which became the toughest data privacy law in the world and forced American tech companies to change their practices globally. They launched massive antitrust investigations against Google, Apple, Meta, and Amazon, handing out billions in fines. They began developing a European cloud initiative to reduce dependence on American providers. And they started funding European tech startups through initiatives like the European Innovation Council. But here's the brutal truth. While Europe was regulating American tech giants, those companies just got bigger and more embedded in European life. No European company has successfully challenged Google in search, Amazon in e-commerce, or Microsoft in enterprise software. The fines are real, but to a company like Apple with $3 trillion in market cap, $1 billion fine is basically a rounding error. Europe became the world's top regulator of American tech, but not an alternative to it.